All right. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the legend of the three kingdoms. Yes, this is my custom D&D game set in my messed up world. And the people below me are the people that were crazy enough to let me hold the lives of their characters in my hands. And some of them have already come to regret that decision. So, uh, today, I should note, if you're wondering how you missed this when I streamed it, both of you that actually will watch this live, this episode specifically was just recorded for YouTube. We didn't stream it due to everything that's going on to Twitch right now. We will be back to regular streaming and everything in a couple weeks for our next session. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, which is the only place you can watch it, that's why. Anyway, let's delve back into the game. The party is dealt with the vampiress who had been stalking Vala. After dealing with her horde and the vampiress herself, the party broke apart a little bit to rest, recover their wounds. Lillian met with the other blood hunters to perform a ritual on the silver sword that once belonged to her father, imbuing it with specific abilities to help her be able to hunt the undead monsters she's dedicated her life to exterminating. The rest of the party has been slowly dealing with the aftermath of such a hectic battle, having been charmed and dominated and dealing with the repercussions of that. And while that was happening, a visitor appeared. Another vampire lord, though this one seemingly not aggressive or antagonistic. The vampire lord Leopold, who many years ago had a, let's call relationship with Vala. An interaction that lasted for a little bit. He claims he is there to deliver an invitation to testify in front of the Blood Council, the ruling council of the vampire nation. Everything about the invitation seems legitimate, and thus far Leopold has done nothing to indicate any sort of deception or ambush, to the point where he's even apologized for a few previous actions. However, with only one member of the party actually knowing this vampire, and literally 100% of the other vampire interactions of the party being negative, the party itself is wary. And that is where we are going to pick it up. So, could quickly remind me. I know Vala had explained this situation to the rest of the party. Had you guys made a decision as far as whether you were going to go to the vampire, the Blood Council, or not?
I believe the decision was to go. think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was gonna go prepare his our escort.
Oh, that's right. Because I followed him out asking for a loot because I'm outside. That's right.
Yeah. And I told him, I told him that was
So everyone's just super happy. Leopold is left. Um, his troops are roughly about 15 to 20 minutes away. Um, so, any preparations you guys want to make for your uh, travel to the Blood Citadel, which is quite literally on the opposite side of the continent.
Hmm.
Are there any extra like satchels in this area that we're at?
You can find one without too much difficulty.
'Cause I want to find one and just since I don't know how long of the journey it is and I wouldn't know how much food I need to pack, I'm just shoving as much rolls in there as I can.
Okay.
Meanwhile, while he's doing that, I stride up next to him in the kitchen with another stack, and I'm getting like 6 cloves of garlic and just putting them in there.
Okay.
Boy.
Remarkably enough, the garlic is actually more difficult to come by than the rolls, simply because up until a few weeks ago, this was a vampire stronghold.
That's
They haven't quite gotten you know, the Italian level of garlic for all of their sauces and pastas.
funny.
And
This is not a garden of olives.
I'm sitting here to try to think of what food cultures use a lot of garlic, and I know Italian cooking uses a lot of garlic. I don't think anywhere near as much as just good old fashioned Southern comfort food, where it's just all garlic, salt, and pepper. Now I'm hungry.
Jeez, Joey, why you gotta do that?
Any other things that you guys want to do? Everyone except for the Nameless would know that traveling from where you are now down to the Blood Capital is probably at a good pace is going to be about a month and a half, maybe to 2 month journey. If there's magical means used, they might be able to get you there a little bit faster. But you're looking at least to get to the Sanguineas border, at least 2.5 weeks, or to get to House of Corlan, which is the closest major vampire city.
I would like to take my dagger,
Mm-hmm.
prick my finger a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
get a little bit of blood, and then use my wand of magic detection to see is my blood still magical.
Ooh, okay. So as you do that, and you kind of wand your blood, it still has faint traces of magic, but it's just as possible that's from your own magical abilities as it is from. Um,
It's not the day glow
no, your
magical
your
that it was before.
your blood is no longer glowing in the dark.
Okay. Um. Okay. I think other than starting to say some goodbyes, and thank yous to Celeste, um, Satin, the Pixies, the Blood Hunters, just everybody.
Big old group hug.
yeah. I'm gonna say some goodbyes. Gonna stock up on supplies. Uh,
Yeah,
Just
I will see how Siri
Mhm.
can advise about our plan.
Okay. Um,
Um,
by the time you would find him, the blood hunters themselves would literally be just on their way out. Because after the ritual, they basically just packed their stuff and were getting out of there because they're still not particularly fond of the area.
yeah.
But you are able to kind of let them know. This is Selig kind of giggles a bit when you tell him. He goes, "Seems your life is never going to be boring, is it? I know we study the passage of life into death, but you don't need that much direct
Yeah.
data."
And this was my first one.
Don't worry, I'll watch after her.
And we lose someone.
We lost our
I
barbarian.
was just,
They'll be back soon, I promise. Anyway, yes, so you guys are able to make your preparations. And Vala, you would have been given. Yep, course.
what happened?
Uh,
Probably just rearranged the.
yeah, I just rearranged the pictures is all. So I just have to rearrange some stuff so the right names are at the right places. There we go. All fixed. So yeah, Vala, you would have been given you would have been told where to meet your escort. So when you guys are all ready, you can head out.
Well, is everyone ready?
no, but
Not much of a choice.
yeah.
In vampire, I say yes.
I nod and say, okay, back in vampire. No, I don't. All right then. Well, hey, at least this time we'll be able to go into one of the capitals to meet the ruling class of one of these countries, one of these kingdoms, instead of having to meet out in some cave somewhere being ambushed. It's a little bit more. Oh god, I can't even believe I'm going to say civilized.
And this one I would prefer that. I think.
Yeah. If I start going native, somebody slap me, please.
Okay.
And with that, you guys take the 10 to 15 minutes. Because of just how heavily wooded it is, you guys can't actually see the group you're going to be traveling with until you're almost on to top of them. And when you do see them, you're a little bit surprised. You can see Leopold there, who is very obviously vampiric in look. However, he's dressed in much different clothes than the ones that you saw him in before. They're very kind of bland. He looks almost like just a ranger you would just see out in the wild, and he has this very big, thick hood that's around his neck right now, but you're relatively certain it will hide most of his features. The troops that he has with him are all human. And none of them seem to have any vampiric traits at all, and they also are dressed very formally. A lot of them have like packs with various goods and the things like that to make it very much look like this is a traveling trader's caravan.
About how many of them are there?
In total, there's a Leopold, and he has about 10 other people with him, which is another thing that just seems weird because the conversation you had, you kind of got the impression that he had an army with him.
Right.
I'm assuming my sword and my cock is growing because of him.
Yeah. The only one that's really setting it off is Leopold. But yeah, anytime you even just like crack the blade out of the scabbard at all, you just have this kind of bright white light that comes out, like total light of Alendo.
Well, Leopold, this wasn't quite the army I was expecting.
Well, when you got rid of the Nanese, talking's hard, guys. It really is. When you got rid of the reason I needed an army, I figured it was best to travel as inconspicuously as possible. Based on the very small amount of information we have been able to learn. We believe there are factions that would be a little less than pleased if you were able to share the information you have.
That sounds right. Well, we shouldn't waste much time, should we?
We must ask that you all at least attempt to disguise yourselves to make us look slightly less odd. We have cloaks and various packs, if you would like to. You can use to hide your faces, your figures, anything that might make you noticeable.
I'll just snap my fingers and use Mask of Many Faces to make myself look like a traveling merchant.
Or you could do that. Anyway, prepare yourselves. We'll be leaving in the next 10 minutes. And he wanders over and starts talking to a few of the people, and those of you with a little more of a kind of hierarchy, military mind, like commander, and possibly Argenta, start kind of figuring out that of the 10 people here, two of them are in some sort of command position, and then each one of those two has a group of 4 that seem to answer to them.
All right, guys, we should apparently disguise ourselves. Make sure we're not targets.
This again?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'll grab a cloak.
Yeah, I'll throw a cloak on.
Yeah, so now quit is only I know down right around how the about where I come from. I'm kind of nowhere. Was that trail the capital too?
I mean, technically, because you all have the titles, you are all known in most major cities to a point. The issue will be if they actually know your face. Everyone except Nameless, who is a nobody.
Yeah.
But as far as remind me what your title is. Are you the drifter?
Yeah,
Okay.
Drifter.
So your specific kind of fame is more based on your actions than your physical description. So the fact that you're traveling with a larger group will probably make it slightly more difficult for like just random people to go, oh my god, that's the drifter. However, anyone that's actually seen you and connected the name the drifter with your face will still know you. So, and I know before the game, you kind of flirted the border between Fenris and Sanguineas, right? Kind of on both sides, if I remember correctly.
Um,
Or were you mainly in
yeah,
Fenris?
yeah, it's a little bit
Okay.
invalid for me to edit that triangle area.
So probably the further away from the border, the less chance someone will recognize you. Um, but if you kind of start falling into some of your old habits, people may connect the dots, and that's true of everyone.
Um,
You know, if you start vigilanteing, they might figure out who you are.
Oh, it's so tempting.
yeah.
Not, not being the sharpest tool in the shed, I don't pick up at all what Leopold was saying about disguising ourselves, and I'm just distracted by all the new people.
Which is fine.
Mainly
You do
looking
get
to see if
you do get some weird looks, mostly because Genasi are exceptionally rare here, since they are from the elemental planes. So you're probably the first Genasi any of these people have ever seen.
I'm just looking at everyone, mainly their belongings, to see if any of them have a loot.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Damn it.
if they have a loot, I'm going to try to procure it at some point on our journey.
Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
What's this, -1 or 2?
While he's doing that, Argenta, go ahead and roll me. Let's call it a history or an insight, whichever you prefer.
I rolled a 10 for investigation.
Okay. So, kind of searching around and trying to see if you can find one of these magical loots that you've been looking for. You start kind of very casually in your mind, looking over people's belongings and that, maybe trying to peek into a couple of the big kind of packs, if a few of them wear. And eventually you get curious enough that you just kind of pull one, like just get a big handful of the pack and just pull it down and start kind of rummaging through it. As one of the guards just kind of elbows you in the stomach, goes, "Hey!" You were somewhat surprised when you looked in there. Most of what's in there are various pieces of metal that seem to be placed in a way that they will bang against each other, and then heavy tarps that have been kind of balled up to give it a size.
After he elbows me, I just say boring and just drop it.
Argenta, did you make your
Yeah.
roll?
I rolled a nat 20 for 26.
Damn, was that insight or history?
Insight.
Okay. So as you're kind of watching these guys, something about what they're doing and just kind of their movements is really bothering you. You don't know why, but there's something about this that's just kind of poking you in the back of the head. And it takes until after you guys have been on the road for a couple hours for you to realize exactly what it is, which is you recognize the tactics that these guys are using, some of the hand signals that they're using. They are the same tactics that were used the last time by the group that ended your last mercenary party and got you the nickname of the Lone Wolf. So, first of all, these are mercenaries. They're not, or you've realized they're mercenaries. They're not part of the vampire army or anything, and they have some connection to. And for the life of me, I can't remember the guy's name now.
The bloody thing.
There we go. Yep. There was some connection.
All right.
Am I the only one not disguised in any way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave it up to everyone else, but I think so. They have tried to give you like a cloak like 7 or 8 times now, but they've kind of given up on you.
I will take one of the cloaks from them and just put this on. It will please the rolls.
I immediately, because the last time Vala used that tone with me, my hand started disappearing. I will just run away and hide behind Argenta.
It's the same color as the rolls, nameless.
Since when did I become the mean one?
I'll whisper to Argenta. What is it?
It's called the cloak. I look at him and I realize he's already wet, and I'm just like, it'll keep the rolls pleased because it's the same color as you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just hold it because I'm not entirely sure how to put it on.
With all the time we spent building a brand new character for you, nothing in it had anything to do with rolls.
Actually,
and now
wait a
it
minute.
is a major part of your character's being. And that's, folks, is why you should play D&D.
I was going to say, technically, his name will even recognize me.
Oh yeah, you would have just walked up, and you would have recognized the tone at the very least, because I don't think Mask of Many Faces changes your voice.
No.
So yeah, you would that would have probably missed you up even more, hearing Vala's voice come out of. Well, go ahead to describe the merchant you look like, because you can even change genders if you want.
Yeah. No. I will be a male high elf. About the same height, dark brown hair, traveling clothes, cloak, band on the back, no loot. Actually, no loot.
No, everything is a little loot. I transform my rapier into a rapier loot. I have looted earrings.
I'm a traveling loot merchant. There's just loot hanging everywhere off of my pack. But yeah, just like a traveling tapestry merchant.
Okay. So yeah, this random dude with a bunch of rugs on him tried to force you to wear a cloak.
Yeah, I guess
It
I
sounded
forgot
a
that
lot
you did
like
that.
Vala.
Not putting the two pieces together, I would just let the new person put me in a cloak.
Okay.
All right then. Well,
I'd assume from our traveling together, I know Vala doesn't speak Orcish or Dwarven, right?
I think I speak Dwarvish. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I speak Dwarvish.
Okay. Then I'll go up to Vala after that's done and just kind of whisper. I recognize the speech.
Oh, really?
They
Where from?
remind me of the ones that killed my old group.
Hmm. So we need to kill everyone then.
Perhaps. Depends if Leopold's the bloody thing or not.
Well,
Go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand to check Argenta.
Not bad. I don't think I'm proficient, so that'd be a 16.
Okay. So as you sit there and you say the word bloody fang, you kind of feel a little weird. And I have to roll now. Like perhaps somebody's watching you.
Hmm.
No.
Nameless is the bloody fang all along.
Oh
Dun
no.
dun dun. Okay.
oh God.
So you kind of get this feeling like you're being watched, and instantly start looking around. But as far as you can tell, oxen are not that loud. As far as you can tell, it doesn't seem like any of the mercenaries were close enough to hear you. None of them seem to be looking at you, but you can't quite shake that feeling. Now that you've actually said the name out loud, it's the first time you've said it in quite a while.
Hmm.
I'll just kind of, whisper back, whatever you need to do, I've got your back.
I give Vala a nod as I'm still kind of eyeing everything.
As you continue down the road, you left relatively early in the morning, like mid-morning. The group eventually sits down for a quick and fairly late lunch, and then continues to traveling till the end of the day when they all break camp and or make camp. I mean, one member of the mercenary groups seems to be relatively skilled at cooking, and starts making some sort of a stew type thing with an animal that you don't remember seeing them hunt, but is obviously freshly killed.
Is Leopold using any sort of way to stay out of the sun?
He has a really, really thick, heavy cloak. Like think kind of Henri's cloak.
Hmm.
Just not quite as many layers. But it goes down so far that you can't see his face. He's got really thick, kind of very long gloves, and then the sleeves on his jerkin and everything just go down really far as well. So he's very, very, very well covered.
Alright. I'll be not eating what they're cooking and I'm going to be using rations. So,
I mean, it's not a roll, so I'm eating my roll.
Okay. Do any of the rest of you have? They offer you bowls of stew, and it seems to have root vegetables is in it, some sort of meat, and yeah, really, really kind of hearty kind of stew.
I will partake.
Okay.
Same here.
Um,
Go ahead, Lillian.
I will eat my rations.
Okay. So
I got a
go ahead.
sorry. I got a 13 on my Constitution saving throw.
So Vala and Commander, you're dead.
Cool.
No, Vala, it tastes remarkably good. It's got a nice flavor. It is pretty gamey. As you're eating it, you're thinking maybe venison or something related to it. But this was not a kind of. This was a very lean animal that they cooked. There's not a lot of fat in the stew. Commander, you are almost instantly kind of brought back to a couple of the times where you've had to kind of command a group ad hoc almost, where you would just, whatever you could find, you would throw into boiling water, hopefully put some sort of spices or aromatics in it, and make something that was partially edible. Every so often, through just sheer happenstance and mistake, they would make something really tasty. But stews and soups in general tended to be the easiest thing to feed a large group of people effectively without a whole bunch of supplies. So
I'm going to take my rations up to Leopold if he's still there.
sorry, what did you say?
I'm going to take my rations up to Leopold if he's still there.
Yeah, he doesn't leave or anything. He is on the edge of the group, with it now being a little past to twilight. And he seems to be just kind of constantly scanning the horizon and the area, or as much as the horizon you guys can see with the kind of swampy forest you're in. You're still about at least a good week away from the border.
So, and vampire, I'm going to say, you have no ulterior motives, do you?
And he kind of looks at you, and without any kind of bleed through of emotion, he looks at you and goes, "No. Why would you think that?"
It's just curious you're using mercenaries rather than blood guards. I'm sure there's humans in there.
Mercenaries draw less attention than blood guards. And with enough money, there's this silence can be purchased rather effectively.
And you've had no dealings with these particular mercenaries in the past?
The Blood Council hired them. They have a few groups they use on a regular basis.
Can I insight check that?
Sure.
Alright. Okay. I'm not using that dice anymore. Another nat 20.
Damn. So the weird thing about him, and in the few interactions you've had with the vampires before, you've never actually interacted with a vampire lord. Like you know, high-ranking vampires is not a strange thing, but this Leopold is not head of his house, but he's within spitting distance of it. And his mannerisms are so different and so kind of repressed that getting a good read on him is really, really hard. even with your kind of a pretty well developed ability to read people, you get next to nothing when you try to figure out. As far as you can tell, he doesn't seem to be lying, but he said so little that there's not a whole lot he could have lied about. And you do get the idea that he chooses his words very, very carefully.
Alright. I just kind of look him up and down and nod before I go back to go lead it some more.
Okay. Anything else the rest of you guys want to do before bedding down for the night?
I pass out immediately after my roll.
Okay. Don't even pack your sleeping bag. Just lay out on the grass.
I don't know what that is.
Oh boy. Just kind of like throughout the entire trip, I wanted to either try to make improvements on, or if I add anything to the designs for the long rifle I drew initially.
Okay. Go ahead and just roll me a tinker check for today, and then over the next possibly a couple months here, we'll have you do a few more. Doing work like this while you're moving is incredibly difficult, but it is possible during like the lunch breaks and at night to get a little bit of tinkering done.
No, I just meant to the drawings I made of the long rifle.
The drawing itself. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. I'll still have you roll the tinkering check though.
Oh, okay.
If it's starting to get dark out, I could cast dancing lights to give him some light to draw to.
Okay.
Alright, take my sword out.
As soon as you take your sword out, pshing, daylight.
Too bright. Okay, tinkering check. So that's 19, 23.
Okay. So you're still kind of experimenting and kind of basing the design of this long gun off of the revolver you could currently have, or what kind of gun is?
My pistol?
Yeah, your pistol. There we go. Wow. Words are hard, folks. You're kind of basing it on the same basic principles, except having a single barrel instead of multiples, and everything kind of being bigger and a little longer. So as you sit there and do more sketching, you're starting to come up with like the firing chambers. This is starting to come together. But it's kind of slow work because the only other kind of design you have to go off of are the muskets that are carried by the musketeers.
Yeah.
Which are, what are they called? Cap.
Oh, crap.
There's a name for. I looked up old firearm manufacturers, and there's a system that uses a cap, but they're still muzzle loaders, basically.
Yeah.
So.
That cat a ball.
It might be. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, it's you're basically creating something that doesn't exist. So it is still a little bit of guess and check, and eventually you're going to get to a point where you have excuse me, you have to start actually experimenting to get any further.
Okay.
I'm just putting up a very obvious divide between our camping spot and the other camping spot, and I'm putting up an alarm spell before I go to sleep.
Okay.
As things are beginning to wind down, I'm going to pull out my lute and start strumming a little bit and working on a song that I've been working on. Win a humble bard, grace to ride along, with commander and fury, along came the song. When the lone wolf fought that elemental prick, his army of mercs and their plot he did check. Toss a coin to the lone wolf, oh people of Fenrish, oh people of Fenrish. Alright, come on. Start making some notes.
So, anything else before you guys hit the hay?
Nope.
Nope.
All right, so you guys get a pretty decent sleep. The one kind of benefit of traveling with this group is they take care of all the watches at the night, so you guys are able to actually sleep through the night without having to wake up every couple of hours to search watch and everything. When you're woke in the morning, you're woken up by little rocks and dirt clouds being kind of chucked at you because they don't want to set off your alarm spell and possibly alert other creatures that you're there.
Hmm.
But they wake you up before dawn to start packing up the camp and getting ready.
Oh, look at that. I'm already packed.
I've got something in my eye and it is killing me. Sorry, your song wasn't so beautiful, but brought me to tears. It's something else.
That's just the first verse. There's many more. I mean, it's odd that every member of the group except me has a 2-syllable name or 2-syllable title or 3-syllable.
I was
Oh
just sitting there
boy.
going, Commander has the three symbols. Lone Wolf is two. Drifter is two.
But the lone wolf, the drifter, the outcast, the preacher. It works, but
The
not
nameless.
the nameless. He hasn't done anything yet to get into the song.
Hey Jody,
Yeah.
what do I have to roll to invent earplugs?
Surprising enough, they already exist. You take little bits of cotton and shove them in your ears.
That's what I do.
And the song starts off with how we met.
I double pack it.
So as you guys continue getting up and getting ready, some hardtack is passed around for a very quick kind of mobile breakfast. Anything you wanted to do before you get going again?
Sure, I'll go up to one of those leader guys. The guys that are under Leopold. One of them.
Sorry, say one more time.
One of the guys that's like under Leopold that commands one of the 4-man groups. I'm gonna go up to one of them, whichever's closer.
Okay. So as he's sitting there and he's actually collapsing a tent and stick it into his mostly empty pack. And he sees you comes over, he just kind of looks at you. Yeah?
I just kind of look at him in the eye and, do you recognize me?
No. Should I?
I'm gonna insight second before I answer that.
Okay.
Okay, that's not a nat 20. 22.
He seems to be oblivious of who you are.
I just give him a nod. Good that you don't. And then I go back.
As you're walking away, you hear him kind of mutter under his breath, "Crazy bugger." And then he gets back to kind of commanding his little group.
Alright.
Hey, Argenta, that's Nameless's bit. You can't just confuse people like that, okay?
That's
You're
his
not a
trait, man. Don't take it.
not a part of the confusion union. Okay, only union members are allowed to do that.
You
You,
have to
sir, are a scab.
you have to submit your application to the role lord. The role lord will determine if you're in
Mm-hmm.
or not.
Then you've got the dues. You have to make sure you abide by all the union rules and everything. Like, it's a very complicated process. So as not to make this mind-numbingly dull, for the next week and a half, if you guys travel mostly cross country towards the border, as you get close, you do have eventually come to the major highway between House Corlon and Tree Rat Arena to make the crossing there. And as much travel as you guys have done in Fenrish, you're actually kind of surprised you really don't come up against any issues while you're traveling. The You don't could come across any were creatures. You see a few dire wolves as you're going on the distance, but they never get anywhere near close enough to cause any issues. It is a remarkably smooth journey compared to literally every other journey you've had in Fenrish. As you get to the borders, Leopold kind of gathers you together. We've paid off the guards on the Fenrish side. Once we get to Sanguineas, we should be fine. But if you are questioned, we are a merchant guild traveling from Tree Rot to House Corlon to eventually go to Evro to sell goods to the nobles that are there. If they ask any more details, to direct them to me. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Please take this seriously. Again, there are forces out there that would much rather you are never able to speak of what you know, and it would not be beyond their reach to have agents who were waiting here to find us. And as he looks at you, he kind of turns and wanders off to go start talking to effectively customs. Since you are merchants, you have to tell them everything you're bringing over and all that stuff. So you guys are kind of just sitting there. You see a couple of the mercenaries have already gone over and are being slowly kind of waved through the relatively large gate for crossing here. And as you all are sitting or kind of milling through everything, Argenta, as you're going, you suddenly feel a hand kind of caress your shoulder and almost seem like they trace some of the muscle groups back there. And then you feel a bit of warmth as a younger elven male comes over and goes, "Hey, you look interesting."
Many people have said that.
Well, it just seems like we're heading in this same direction, and you look awfully lonely. Maybe I could keep you company.
I don't think so.
Uh, I assume I can see this.
You would think, however, through some just kind of happenstance, Argenta just seems to be slightly away from the group when this gentleman walks over. If you want to roll me a perception check.
I was gonna say, who's babysitting me since I've never seen half of this stuff before.
You're in the. You're like being.
I'm too distracted by keeping an eye on Nameless.
Yeah. So, as you're as you kind of rebuff him, he's like, "Come on, you you know where this is going. Come on. I mean, you're alone. I'm alone. It's gonna
I'm
take
not.
an hour to get through this anyway, and we're both heading to Coralon, so."
I'm not really alone. And when people go into the woods alone, bad things happen. Mushrooms.
Oh, I'm not saying we need to go anywhere. I'm saying just I'll walk with you when we sit down for camp at night. Maybe we should share a tent for warmth.
I just kind of look at him and I smirk. You're not allowed in my tent.
Oh, doesn't seem very nice. Really, I'm a nice guy. I
Is
think
he,
you. I
is
think
he a
you
dark
really.
elf, a high elf, a wood elf?
Say again.
Is he a dark elf, a high elf, a wood elf?
He seems to be a wood elf from as far as you can tell. He's kind of an almost olive tone to his skin, and he's not quite as tall as you're used to seeing high elves. And for whatever reason, you're not sure why, but high elves just always seem to have like this stick up a certain portion of their anatomy where they have this posture that is so unbelievably perfect that it looks almost painful. This guy's really relaxed. He's kind of slouching a little bit. So you think more likely than not he's a wood elf.
I just kind of shake my head. We're on an important merchant. Lots of business. I know.
Oh well, I'm on an important mission too. Trust me, and I'd like you to make a wisdom save for me.
Is it against a charm? Just so I know.
It is against a charm.
21.
Okay, as you're sitting there, kind of looking into his eyes, you suddenly start to feel a little bit strange, and everything aside from him starts to get a little fuzzy. You can hear absolutely everything he's saying perfectly, but everything else, which this area is a bit loud as far as kind of ambient noise goes, because there's all these people talking and yelling and all this, but for some odd reason, it all just kind of fades into the background. And you're just kind of really focused on him. And as you're sitting there, you suddenly kind of feel just the quick hint of magic in the back of your mind, and you just shake your head, and I need a con save, please.
Okay. This one's not at advantage. Oh. What is the con? It's been a while. 25.
Shit, you're not allowed to use that to die anymore.
Okay, I'll switch to a third die.
Seriously? Damn.
Yeah.
As you're sitting there, you feel this sharp pain in your lower back as someone plunges something sharp, and you suddenly feel poison coursing through your veins. Your body starts to go limp a little bit. as the poison just starts taking over everything, and your eyes start to slowly close as you see his kind of smile fade as he kind of puts his arm around your back to make it difficult for people to see that you're falling unconscious, and then you instantly kind of blink and you are full awake, like adrenaline pumping. You're aware of everything as you fight off the poison. And you realize you are now kind of surrounded by this one guy in front of you, and whomever his buddy was in the back that just plunged what feels like a dagger into your back. And I would like everybody to roll in an initiative for me.
Okay.
I'm certain this won't go poorly at all.
And here I was rehearsing. What would Nameless say, questioned by these guards about this expedition?
I seriously don't think anything, bad is going to happen. I mean, they just plunged a dagger into Argenta's back. I mean, that's a totally normal thing to have happen at a checkpoint.
Yeah, they call it like the Sanguineas handshake, right?
Yeah.
It's home.
All right, Vala, what you got for me?
I have a 19.
I have not rolled a double digit. Nameless.
18.
Commander.
22.
Argenta.
11.
And Lillian.
24.
Hot damn. All right, so this itself isn't a combat encounter as much as it is just a lot of things happening at once. So I need this is something to kind of organize what action happens for first. So Argenta, you can feel that there is still a dagger in your back, and it's still releasing more blood, or not blood, more poison into your system. That being said, it is not your turn just yet. Commander, we're actually going to start with you. And I'm going to have you roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Oh, wait, sorry. Lillian's first.
Oh,
Keep that
so
roll.
I will.
We'll get back to you.
Okay.
Lillian, I'd like you to roll up a perception check as well. 24 to 22. They're both in the numbers.
Tomato.
19.
Okay. So as all of this stuff is going on, you realize as you're kind of going through everything, you can't see Argenta anymore. There is a sea of bodies around you. There's all this movement in that. As you look around, you can see Vala, you can see Nameless, who are kind of arguing with each other without speaking, as Vala keeps kind of intercepting the Nameless from doing something inappropriate to someone they're not currently paying off. And you can see Commander a little bit more off on his own, but Argenta just seems to have vanished. You don't see her anywhere in your peripherals.
When would it be the last time I saw him?
Right when Leopold had that little meeting, when you guys first arrived at the crossing, you would have seen everyone. So it's been maybe 5 minutes.
go to her bigger see
Okay. Due to the fact that commander's next in an initiative,
yeah.
what did you get for your perception check?
22 again.
Okay. So as Lillian comes over, she asks, "Hey, you seen Argenta?" And as you look around, you don't see her either. Which again, it's a little bit more difficult to find each other since you're all wearing cloaks and everything to try and blend in. But you guys are pretty good at picking Argenta out of a crowd. Once you get to know her, it's kind of really hard to lose her in a crowd. To be honest.
Yeah, she's like really tall, right?
Yeah, relatively, I believe.
Yeah, she's like 6 feet tall.
Yeah. So she's big, and you don't see her. Like, normally she'd be a good, like, half a head above everybody here. And looking around, you can't see her anywhere.
But I remember where she was in relation to me before we started walking in.
Yeah, she was kind of towards the back-ish of the group. You guys are kind of just in a blob.
Yeah.
So, I mean, depending on which side of the blob, anyone could have been at the back.
Yeah. So I will head to the general location where I think she was, and I'll
Okay.
be drawing my rapier.
All right, and Lillian, are you...
Yeah, I'll go
since you guys are
with,
technically going at this the same time currently,
yeah.
but you guys can both give me investigation checks then. Commander, yours is going to be made with the disadvantage because as you pull your rapier, one of the guards at the border sees the rapier starting to come up and just starts walking over. Hey, no weapons this close to the border. We don't want any fights breaking out. It takes forever to clean up.
You said investigation?
Yes, please.
I want that one. 7 total.
So you're a little bit fixated on the fact that guards are now coming towards you two because Commander is pulling his rapier. Commander?
Yeah. What was my number? I forgot my bonus to it. Where's that? Oh, 19.
Okay. So even with this guy coming, you see kind of an awkward situation that you've seen a couple times before when someone is really, really drunk and friends are trying to help lead them out. You see this kind of tangle of arms and the legs and things. And you recognize some of those arms and legs belong to Argenta, and the rest of them do not. The people that seem to be helping her, as far as you can tell, you've never seen before.
Well, seeing that, I would be pointing my sword at the group of them and yelling for Lillian and everyone else.
Okay.
Especially the vampire.
Okay. So as you do that, I'll say that ends your guys' turn.
Okay.
Vala, you're the first one to hear Commander you yell out. What exactly do you yell?
Do we have a word? I forgot. Did we make up a 4-letter word before we were going into the cave?
Jumanji.
Yeah, that's right. Jumanji. Yeah, so yell at Jumanji.
So you hear the word Jumanji, and you see Commander's rapier pointed at a group of people that looks like that they're helping their drunk friend out. But something about it doesn't seem right because their drunk friend doesn't look drunk.
And it is wearing a gingham dress that matches.
Yeah.
How far away are they from me?
At this point, they're about 50 feet away. Like, they're moving really fast against a current of people.
Excellent. I will cast Expeditious Retreat on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay. But because of the area you're in, you are basically moving against a wave of people as well. So I'm going to have you roll me. Since you're doing it super fast, it's going to be an athletics check.
okay, because I was gonna say my movement speed, if I use my action, would be 90 feet per round.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying you can't make
Okay.
it. I'm saying there's lots of people in between you guys, and you literally have to push past them.
Could I try to acrobatics my way through them? A little parkour, or
Normally I'd just say yes, but with how fast you're moving, you simply don't have the ability to be. You're blowing through people with expeditious retreat.
okay. One. A
Oh
total.
God.
Okay. So as you're going, you trip at first, and you're able to make it within about 10 feet of these people. At this point, you can see, obviously, it's Argenta. She's not drunk at all. And there is a small line of red that is moving down her back and her little leg that is slowly collecting in a pool of blood as she's being dragged off with a blade in her back.
Okay, so, and that was
It's
assuming
basically
that was
action and movement.
and bonus action to cast the spell.
Okay,
So
so
I'll just yell out to I'll just like look at them and go, "You let her go now," and you get to walk away.
okay. As that happens, nameless, the warden has left the prison for a moment.
Seeing
Really
as how I have
fast.
Seeing as how I have no clue what Jumanji is, I'm just gonna be, for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna be out of this encounter. I'm just gonna be trying to talk to the people who are driving these mystical creatures that have 4 wheels.
Okay.
Because I'm so fascinated by something that's moving by 4 round objects.
Unfortunately for you, one of like the second or the third people you meet is a wagon enthusiast.
Yes.
And has taken the opportunity to not only give you a history lesson on wagons in general, but is actually like pointing out the different wagons and going, that one's got an interesting suspension. Obviously, they're carrying a lot, and is just going to town on this. So yeah, but by the time this is done, you may be an expert on wagon manufacturing. Finally, we could get to our Genta. I need another con save because the daggers. This is still in your back at the beginning of this round.
That's gonna be a 18. No, higher than that. 21.
Still good. Yeah. You even are starting to recognize. Colloquially, the poison is called drow poison. And it's used generally by vampires who want a live meal. It's an extremely quick acting poison that renders you unconscious almost immediately for an hour, which is generally long enough for them to wrap you up and get ready to eat.
Okay.
So knowing that, you are effectively restrained by the two of them, but you're in full control of all your faculties right now. What would you like to do?
I'm going to yell out kidnappers first.
They do have a hand over your mouth.
All
So if
right.
you want to do that, you'll have to struggle a little bit, but it's not outside the realm of reason.
Well, then what I'll do is I will rage, and I will try and throw them off of me.
Okay, just make me an athletics check with a disadvantage
And
because
then
of
advantage.
the dagger in your back.
And then advantage because I'm raging. So,
So flat.
28.
Not high enough, unfortunately. Use a dice roller program. Dear God.
Real.
You have not gotten less than a 20, I think, this
I
whole
got
session.
I got an 11 for initiative. It rolled
Oh,
low one.
there we go.
That's the counter.
So as you're sitting there, and these guys are basically dragging you away, you plant your feet and kind of get one of your arms. You're already kind of like this on their shoulders, and you kind of just move your arm a little bit to get under their armpits, and you just suplex them both. However, the dagger in your back gets jerked in a very uncomfortable manner. And you take 2d to 12 damage, which is 5. 5 piercing damage. That, yeah, so 2, I think, with your raging. And the dagger is still in your back, but they're no longer holding it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna like spin around where I heard Vala's voice and head in that direction.
Okay. So you start running. You're still trailing blood behind you.
Yeah, I'm assuming I can't pull it out this turn because I did that. So.
Yeah, the suplex was kind of your action for the turn. It's a super cool action. As you are going, you hear the familiar sound of crossbow bolts being fired in your direction.
Okay.
I'm rolling on something different. I cannot believe how bad these rolls are. Well, that's a... Math is hard. 24? There we go.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And then... 14.
That will miss.
Okay, so the 14 misses. The 24 hits and does 6 points of piercing damage, half to the 3. And I need another con save, as this also has draw poison on it.
Alright.
This fight goes any little longer, you're either going to develop
There we go.
immunity to it, or...
I rolled on roll 20. It gave you what you wanted.
What'd you get?
And that one.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So as you're running towards where you heard Vala, you're still, with everything going on, you're having a hard time kind of finding her. You feel a crossbow bolt go straight past you, hit a bystander. You watch him just drop like a rock. And then you feel one hit right in your deltoid. And you feel more poison coursing through you, and your eyes just roll back, and you hit the ground hard, right in front of Vala. Vala, as you're just standing there, and you see her just suplex these guys, run towards you. You see them both pull out hand crossbows and fire, and then she face plants right in front of you. But before you can do anything, though, Liliane, there's a definite commotion in front of you. You just saw Argenta run and then face plant. Go ahead and make me another perception check. That's enough. We can get some action going.
It is that one.
I got my wish. So yeah, you can see that the two guys that just took shots at Argenta, and that's it. And again, massive crowd around you that's starting to get a little bit more panicked now that people are dropping and crossbows are being fired. What would you like to do?
Oh, me?
No. Liliane first. We'll get to you. This is our second.
Do I see crossbow getting forward, right?
Yeah, but both of the guys who are currently prone, or no, they would have stood up, are both holding hand crossbows with crossbow bolts that are jet black.
Uh, I will take my sword out and move towards them.
As you pull the sword, the blade is glowing currently.
Uh, and then
You don't,
they pointing the crossbow at Alexander
well,
or
they just both shot at her, so yeah.
um they are trying to attack one of
Okay.
them.
As you as you start moving through the crowd to get to them, does a 19 hit you?
Um, yeah.
Okay. You suddenly feel your the back of your thigh kind of erupt in fire as someone drags a blade across it, and I need a con save from you.
Uh,
Wow. I guess maybe I should just keep my mouth shut. Yeah, as the blade cuts you and the poison starts going through your veins, you drop like a rock, unconscious.
3 different
Maybe you should start rolling roll 20 as well. Uh, Commander,
Oh boy.
you've just watched Lillian go right to where you pointed, and somebody in the crowd just turned and slashed at her with a concealed dagger, and she dropped like a rock.
Did I take damage?
Oh yeah, it's just a dagger though, so
Oh,
that would be 7 piercing damage.
Okay. So I will not do that. How far am I away from Liliane and Argenta?
Argenta's about the 30 feet away. Liliane's only about to 10.
Okay.
And go ahead and make me a perception check.
14, 21.
Looking around, that is not the only person in the crowd that seems to be following this scuffle very closely.
I had a feeling that was the case.
As you kind of scan the crowd, you see about a dozen people in various places that all have cloaks on and are reaching for something underneath their cloaks. And they are very tactically, spread out and mixed into the crowd to the point where anyone running towards the scuffle is going to have to go past at least 2 or 3 of them.
How many are in the line between me and Liliane?
The one that just slashed her and one other person.
And what are the guards doing right now? Are they still walking towards us?
The one guard that saw you pulling your rapier is still walking towards you guys, but he's about to walk past one of these combatants that he doesn't see.
I will yell to him and the guard, I'll yell out to him, bring everyone in, or watch out for and point to that person he's about to walk past,
Okay.
and tell him to yell for everyone to come in.
Okay. As he kind of just glances over at the guy you're pointing at, you watch his expression to change, and he takes his hand down below the wave of people so you can't see. And as he brings it up, this other guy has a dagger that he's trying to stab into this guy, and they're fighting it off. And the guy goes, "Shit! Everyone, get over here!" And chaos erupts. People start running in various directions. You see guards dropping what they're doing. There's only about half a dozen guards on this side of the wall, but they all are kind of fighting through people trying to get to their guard friend that's being attacked. That is not your action, so you still have an action and a movement. So, and a minor or a bonus. I mean,
I will try to find the one that's in between me and Lillian, and attack.
do you want to attack the one that slashed Lillian, or do you want the one that hasn't revealed themselves?
That's a good question. I'll go for the one that has not revealed himself.
Okay, go ahead and make me an attack roll.
Let's see, what is my read? Oh yeah. Oh, that's a natural 20.
Yeah, as you start moving forward, you kind of intentionally to turn your back to the guy, and as he rushes forward with a dagger, you very quickly spin, cut the hand with the dagger in it so he drops it, and then in one fluid motion goes straight through his throat as he drops to the ground, not moving.
That's cool that I would have said it. Okay.
Would you prefer you walk over
No.
and poke him to death?
No, not at all. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then I'll go out. I'll try and find the one that did reveal himself.
Oh, that was the one I thought you were.
Oh, sorry. No, I was going for the one that did not.
Oh. Okay, well, that one's dead then, and the one that hasn't revealed itself is coming towards you. I believe you should still have another attack.
Okay. 18.
If you're not to 20 again, you're fired.
No.
Yeah, as he comes forward, seeing that you just killed one of his partners, he just throws his hood back, comes forward this time actually with a short sword, and just kind of lunges at you with his dagger in his offhand, and you very kind of deftly just turn to the side as the short sword goes past you, hit him with the guard on your rapier, and as he's going back, you just bring it across his neck as blood kind of squirts out, and he falls down dead.
Okay. And I just want to make sure, is Lillian, with the chaos, is Lillian still on the ground, or has she been picked up?
She's still on the ground. They haven't had a chance to pick her up.
Okay,
but
cool.
She is absolutely out like a light.
Cool. That's it.
Okay. That brings us to Vala. You've seen some spurts of red as Commander started, doing his Zorro impression. And you saw Lillian drop into the chaos. With everyone running around, there's a very real chance that both Argenta and Lillian could be trampled.
And I'm right at your feet.
Yeah. You could trample Argenta if you want it.
So there's a lot of people around, and in between me and the two people that were...
Yes, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Ooh, no, that's better than it was last time. 18.
Okay. So you noticed as Commander is moving through, the first person he killed was the one that attacked Lillian, but the second person, he seemed to already know they were coming before they attacked. And so you very quickly kind of look around, and yeah, there's two less than a dozen people in various parts of the crowd. And the crowd itself is around 150 people at this point. And they're all kind of pushing against each other. You can see guards are moving forward against the crowd, but you think it's going to be at least 3 or 4 rounds before they get anywhere near you guys with all the chaos. So
Okay. I apologize. I know I should really know this.
that's fine.
I can cast a leveled bonus action spell and a cantrip as my action.
Yes.
Okay, then I would like to use Healing Word on Argenta.
Okay.
So that would be wow, 7 points of healing.
Right. So this is Argenta. You feel a little bit better in your coma.
Yes, I'm back. I'm back to 106. Um,
See? Oh shit, she's still down. Uh-oh. Well,
Remarkably enough, healing word doesn't cure poison.
I'm just assuming if I've seen her go down, it's gotta be.
Oh yeah. You
Yeah.
it looked bad without just like she.
All right,
But-
in that case, I will step over her body, protect her, and I will begin casting Eldritch Blast, and I will
Okay.
hold it until I see a target.
Currently, the two people that just shot her, you can see and you can target. There's no one in between you.
Oh well,
So if you
in
want
that
to
case,
shoot them, you can. Otherwise, you can wait. It's up to you.
in that case, I would like to shoot them.
Go for it. Make me some attack rolls.
13.
So as you fire off the first Eldritch Blast, the first one you aim at just kind of dodges out of the way, and the Eldritch Blast just sails by, striking one of the bystanders behind him, and the woman you hit just hits the floor, seemingly rendered unconscious from the force.
Oh God.
You guys are worried about Nameless.
Oh God. Oh.
She doesn't seem dead or anything like that. She's just, again, Eldritch Blast does force damage, so you just Cyclopsed her.
Right. The next one is better. My guilty conscience is getting to me. 26.
That one hits hard. You hit the dude in the chest. He flies backwards, and gets hit into one of the stalls. And you see him look down as this little pinpoint of red on his chest starts leaking down, and it looks like you've impaled him on one of the shop walls.
Excellent. For the record, that was 10, so max damage.
That's nice. I'm
So-
bringing back this is something from 4th edition I miss, which are minions.
So
Which if
okay.
you're not aware, they have all the stats of a normal monster. They just have only one hit point.
All right, then I will keep my eye on that woman
Okay.
because I need to get her up
All right.
next. I'm just like, oh,
With that, then a nameless, you've discovered that Valakovian carriages and wagons tend to have just like the highest quality materials, but Sanguinean, those are the cool wagons. They look the best. Those are the ones that if you want to impress the ladies, you get a Sanguinean wagon.
I will say, when the chaos broke out, because I'm super interested in the wagons,
Mhm.
To protect my new friend, I would cast Mage Armor on him as he's talking about the wagon.
He seems almost unfazed but by the chaos. He just kind of steps out of the way as people go running past. Doesn't even pause his explanation. Um, back to Argenta. Go ahead and give me another con save. Or rather, no. Actually, I think you have to take damage to wake up.
Yeah, it's take damage or being shaken awake.
Yeah. So no, you're just dreams are nice, you know.
Yeah, it's like I took a little too much NyQuil. It's fine.
Yeah. Uh, Argenta, from behind you, you sense some movement and you see someone coming forward with a short sword and dagger in hand. That's a 5. They could come at you with the short sword and miss you completely. They try to get you with the dagger. That's a little bit better. 24.
To hit who? Because you said Argenta, but I'm asleep.
I'm not Argenta. I'm so sorry. I was looking right at Vala. I don't know how you guys didn't pick that up when I'm just staring at a computer screen. Vala, I'm so sorry. First one attacked you with a short sword, missed you.
Oh.
Second one, the dagger came for you. You took 5 points of damage from or 6 points. Sorry, the damage from the dagger, and I need a con save.
Cool. That's 18.
Yeah, you feel the poison coursing through. You start to lose a little bit. You blink and fight it off, and you turn to see this guy. This one is actually a halfling, so you almost didn't notice them weaving through the crowd until they were attacking you.
Cool.
But they've got a single gold tooth, and just this really wicked expression on his face, like just pure anger and contempt.
Cool. I would like to point at him and then incinerate him with Hellish Rebuke, please.
What's this? This is save?
Dexterity 17.
We rolled an 18 on the die. Does it do partial damage on a... Yeah,
half damage.
Still, you see him kind of jump back as you just kind of lash out and flames come out, and he just kind of sits there and he goes, and then you just kind of wink at him and...
Yes, so 11 damage.
Yeah, he's gone. Again, as long as you hit these guys, they're dead. They all have 1 hit point. So yeah, you're hurting a little bit from the dagger wound, but you're no longer dealing with him.
Okay.
Back to the top of the order. As you guys are going, Vala, you're the first one to recognize. You hear Leopold's voice. Quickly! There's too many of them, and shit! And you suddenly feel a hand on your shoulder as Leopold comes over and just kind of pulls you away from the guy that just attacked you. He's got this really elegant looking longsword and this shield with this incredible crest embossed into it, and it's just brilliant looking. You almost would think it had never seen a battle if you didn't get that little bit of a tingle of magic from it, which is probably how it's not just beaten to shit now. But he has this sword and shield out, and he kind of gets in front of you and starts trying to kind of move you back. He's like, I can't see. Who's an enemy?
I will attempt to point out the other one that shot at Argenta.
And he leaps into the air and lands with his sword. Yeah, that'll do. Lands with his sword in the chest of the other one. Takes it off, cleans the blade on the corpse. And you see him put his fingers in his mouth and do that really cool whistling thing that I've never been able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the mercenaries are now kind of clearing up a path to the other side, and you can see Bloodguard rushing from the other side of the border towards you all. Before they can get here, though, Liliane, pick even or odd, since this is a new round.
Even.
Somebody steps on you. You take 1 point of bludgeoning damage, but you are awakened as someone walks over you. You're a bit groggy, but you realize you're face down, prone on the ground.
Do I see anything around me and taking out?
It's chaos. Like, people are running in every direction. You see a couple corpses on the ground. You see Leopold is no longer wearing his, or he's still wearing his kind of traveling clothes, but there are rips into the tears in it where you can see a silver breastplate peeking through, and he has a really impressive longsword and shield out. In a battle stance.
Do I see who might have stabbed me?
I think the person that stabbed you is currently dead. So yeah, you do. They're in a puddle on the floor. There's a big hole that starts here and ends here. And Commander is right next to you, cleaning his rapier off.
Alright.
Say again?
Go
ahead and make me a perception check.
No. Oh,
Again, with all the chaos going on, you know that there are other enemies out there. You've got no idea where they are.
Four-year-old.
Dude.
Anything you want to do with your little lack of knowledge? Commander's right there. If you want to, you can ask Commander who the bad guys are. He knows. He pretty quickly kind of fills you in. There's about, math is hard. There's about 7 left in the crowd. They're slowly moving towards you guys. And there's tons of people around that are freaking out because people are dying. And a vampire just jumped through the air and impaled somebody, so tends to set up a bad mood.
I'm gonna take
Sorry?
I was gonna take
Okay. So do you want to take the defend action? Do you want to ready an action?
was doing the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you just have your long sword out. You're getting ready for whatever comes for you. Um, before anything comes, however, Commander.
Uh, I would like to make my way over to Leopold
Okay.
and basically be back to back with him, watching each other's backs.
Okay. As you do that, you notice from the edge of this mob away from the border, so the opposite direction from the border, it seems to be another pretty large group is rushing in, weapons drawn. They're probably 5 turns away, but it's 20 or 30 people that are coming for you guys.
Not guards.
No,
Okay.
they seem very similarly dressed to the two people that just found out exactly how good you are with this sword.
Okay. This changes. Um, Instead of that, I will help Lillian to her feet.
Okay, so she's already standing.
Oh, never mind. Um,
Argentus is still on the floor.
yeah, I'll do that. Make sure to keep an eye out for anyone in between me and
Okay.
on my way to Argentina. I'll go to her, smack her on the face to wake her up,
Yep.
and help her up.
Okay. So she's now awake. This is slightly groggy. Leopold kind of goes with you to kind of keep the back-to-back thing going.
Okay. And I can start yelling for everyone in the group to get back onto the. We had a cart, right?
No, everything
we
was
had a-
being carried in packs. So there's no there's no cart.
So there's no quick getaway. Okay.
Well, if you guys can get to the border, or at least to the Blood Knights.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were already past that. I thought we were on the other side of the. Okay.
No, you're still in Fenris right now.
Gotcha. Now I understand. Then yeah, I'd say I'm ready just to run.
Okay. With that, we're gonna go to Vala.
All right, seeing as though Argenta is now on her feet and is, starting to come around, I'm going to abandon the group.
Okay.
I think I still have Expeditious Retreat up, so I'm going to use my movement and my bonus action movement to get to the woman that I knocked unconscious.
Don't need to use your bonus action movement. You can get there to just your movement and expeditious retreat.
Okay, I will then I will use Cure Wounds at 2nd level.
Okay. As she kind of blinks, she opens her eyes and she just kind of sees you standing over her. She's like, "What happened?"
There are mercenaries in the crowd. One of them, you're fine now, but you need to get to safety.
And she immediately kind of gets up and just kind of holds on to you, like, "Save me!"
I will use my. Oh, well, can I push her? Like, try to get her out of the crowd with my movement?
Whether
I can't
you
grapple her.
want to or not, for at least this turn, she's moving with you. She
Perfect.
has attached herself to you.
Perfect. I will use my movement and I'll use everything I have left to try to get her as far away from the action.
Yeah, you're able to get to one of the stalls, which haven't been overrun with people. This one, unfortunately, is a stable. So as you get over there and you get her to as safe as she can be, you kind of throw her off, and she lands in a big old pile of horse. Which she's less than thrilled about, but she's safe.
Oh god, I'm having flashbacks to Dr. Horrible. I'm Captain Hammer. I threw her into a pile of garbage. Anyways,
It was a soft landing. And
all right, I
horses'
will.
digestion isn't that great.
Depends on your definition of soft.
Would squishy be a better word? So that takes most of it. Now that you're on the outside of this kind of kerfuffle, you also can see there are a large number of more people that are coming in.
Okay, well, I will stand here and plan my next course of action.
All right. That's going to bring us to Nameless. At this point, Nameless, you can hear the Leopold yelling. You can hear Commander and everything. And as much as the wagon talk is riveting, you can tell that your new travel companions seem to be upset about something. You can also see the mercenaries that were near you are basically creating a tunnel in the crowd by kind of blocking people and moving them away, so that as soon as the rest of the party gets close, they have the ability to actually run instead of shuffle through a mob. So with that information, what would you like to do, Nameless?
How far away am I from everybody? Because I don't know how far away I got.
You're basically at this point, you're right next to the border crossing itself. So they're a good 100 150 feet away.
Okie dokie. Well, seeing as how I don't know who's good and who's bad, I'm not gonna just cast a cone of cold into a crowd of people as much as I want to.
That might be effective. Tidal wave. Maybe that would be more your speed.
Yeah, Leopold likes water, right? I am just going to my perceptions. Well, what the woman landed in. So I'm just going to stand behind the mercenaries and just hold a ray of frost until I see anyone go to attack someone I recognize.
Gotcha. What's the range on Ray of Frost?
60 feet.
60 feet. Okay. Cool. But back to Argenta. You are conscious, slightly groggy, and upright, with Commander having just lifted you.
All right, with seeing kind of what's going on, hearing starting to hear everybody saying get to the border, I'm gonna turn towards Lillian, and I'm going to, with like a pinch of dirt, cast Long Strider on her to make her faster,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna start heading towards the border.
Okay. So with your rage going on, go ahead and make me an athletic check as you kind of just barrel through people, creating a path.
19.
Yeah, you have no problem. Like, people are kind of bumping into you. You are going to through them. Now, as you get, what's your movement?
40 feet.
As you get about the 30 feet, you notice one of the enemies that this is still in the crowd is getting dangerously close to you. Do you want to avoid him or intercept?
I'll avoid him.
Okay, so you make us a slight modification, and you've left an opening in this crowd for people to follow. Couple crossbow bolts come out towards Argenta and Vala. Can't get much worse than that. Okay, first one against Argenta misses. Second one against Vala misses as well. You guys hear crossbow bolts fly overhead and get embedded in these stalls and near you guys. As you can see, more of these guys are loading hand crossbows and getting ready to fire. Back up at the top, Lillian.
I see everyone for the border that was out
Okay. You have a pretty decent path you can run through that Argenta just made. As you get close to Argenta, you see this is the same thing. One of the guys is getting dangerously close to you. Do you want to avoid him or meet him?
I'll be them.
Okay. So as you get close, he pulls out a dagger, ready to attack, but you're a little bit faster. What do you want to do?
I'll attack them.
Okay.
Hopefully. Okay. That would be 23%.
As he gets close, as you get close, he brings the dagger up to attack you and just brings it down like that. You instantly bring the sword up, rest the tip of it against his hand, which stops it immediately, as he doesn't want it to pierce his wrist. And as you're just holding it there, you kind of spin the blade around and remove his head from his body as he hits the ground. And surprisingly, that creates a fair amount of space around you for some bizarre reason. And you're able to get closer to the border as well. Commander.
I'm running for the border.
Okay. Since you had to two people could clear the way, you don't really have any issue moving your speed. Did you want to dash and keep going?
How far ahead of me is like Argenta and Vala and Nameless?
You're basically using your movement. You're right next to them. So if you use your dash, you'll get ahead of everybody.
I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna hang with them.
Okay. Anything you do want to use your action for?
Do I have anything? I don't think I do.
There's always the defend action.
Yeah, I'll just take the dodge action.
Or dodge. There we go. Dodge. Cool. That brings us to Vala. People are running.
They are.
You can see Argenta and the Lily have created this nice pocket in the middle of the mob.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna be good and use my expeditious retreat to run back towards the tunnel and the group of people.
Okay.
Group of my people.
No problem getting to them. Do you have something you want to use with your action?
I'll just ready an Eldritch Blast for anybody who decides to throw a crossbow bolt my way.
So to make this kind of move a little bit smoother, since everyone's kind of got this the same thing, as you guys continue to kind of run through the crowd, Leopold is right next to you guys. He and Commander have basically flanked your little group, and he will kind of shield bash anyone that gets close. A few of the guys that pull weapons, he slices them. Commander as well. Your rapier just keeps going in and out of bad guys as they come close. With Lillian kind of clearing up the front, and Argenta just plowing through people. You eventually get to the border itself, where the Fenrish guards are kind of looking at you with hands on their swords because you're armed people trying to storm the border. But then an entire group of blood knights comes through and just takes the guards out. Some of them are just rendered unconscious. Most of them are killed as the Blood Knights come in, just kind of slaughter and then open up their ranks for you guys to run through.
So much bloodshed.
As you go through to the other side, you feel this strange sensation that none of you have ever felt before. It's like getting struck by or having lightning strike literally right behind you. You're pushed forward a little bit. Your skin kind of crackles. All your hair stands on end, and you watch as the crossing the magical barrier there activates, cutting a few civilians into two, and watching everyone else just faceplant against nothing as the border is closed temporarily.
I immediately look around for my new friend, the Wagoneer.
You see him on the other side. He has his hand pressed up against the barrier, single tear going down his face.
See you soon, brother.
I'll never let go, Jack.
And yet she still let go.
Nameless will spread his
She
title.
was a liar.
Nameless will talk about him and make him more famous than you guys.
But what was his name?
The Wagoneer.
Yeah.
Got a title and everything.
What was his mother's name?
What was his mother's name?
So, with that, you see you guys seem to have lost to two of the mercenaries. Both of them were the lower ranked ones, and they're both from the same group. But as the Blood Knights start coming forward to talk to Leopold, it looks like he goes forward, kind of just gives them a hand signal. They immediately stop, do an about face, and go back to the border. Leopold comes to you. He's like, "We need to leave here now. We've brought far too much attention to ourselves. I fear we won't be able to stop in Corlan."
Do we know who that was?
I wasn't told what faction didn't want you making it here. So I'm not sure. The poison that they were using, though, is drow.
In Vampire, I just lean into Leopold and I look him in the eyes and just say, "Have you ever heard of the Bloody Fang?"
He looks at you and goes, "What?"
Hand signals those mercenaries you hired are using them. Very similar to someone who's crossed me in the past who goes by that name.
Well, as much as I would love to iron out your former flings, we need to leave now.
I recommend the Conestoga wagon. It's the fastest model.
Damn it.
And all of the mercenaries and the Leopold all just slowly to turn and just a little look at you. Leopold literally for about like 20 seconds just keeps trying to start a sentence, and it never finished. He's like,
Rolls and wagons, oh no.
oh, that was amazing. Take inspiration for that.
Those turns I did nothing in combat spent reading the wiki on wagons.
He's gonna open a traveling bakery stand. Oh no.
We have our own grog. It's amazing.
He's gonna start the first food truck.
I will check over Argenta and Lillian to make sure they're okay. There's no lasting.
I'm at full hit points now. I'm just poisoned.
You're at how many?
I'm at full. I'm just
Oh,
poisoned.
full.
Oh, the poison's gone.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, once you save or get awakened from it, unless they give you another dose, you're fine. I said remarkably useful poison, but not particularly long lasting.
All right, we should get moving then.
As soon as you guys are fully across and away from the crowd, the group immediately dives into the wilderness around this main thoroughfare, and start traveling cross country at double speed as fast as you guys can. I'd like Constitution saves from everybody.
Something that's actually good. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Vala.
21.
Okay. Nameless.
27.
Commander.
17.
Okay. Lillian.
Let's say if you rolled another one, dude, really?
And it's just as soon as we get Argenta back, I'll ask her. Lillian, you have 2 levels of exhaustion.
Argentus at 13, by the way.
Argenta's at the 13. Then it's as
Yeah.
soon as Argenta's back, she will have 2 levels of exhaustion as well. Hi, Argenta.
Yeah, there we go. 13.
Yep, 2 levels of exhaustion. You guys to travel really, really far into the wilderness, farther than you guys are kind of used to going. Now that you're in Sanguineas, instead of kind of the swampland and everything, this is a much kind of colder, almost dead-looking forest. The trees themselves have numerous branches with spikes and the thorns all over them. But the actual foliage itself seems few and far between. Every so often you'll see large spider webs hanging from trees and things like that. And there's kind of a mist all around you guys.
Ah, it's good to be home.
This is the farthest I've been away from home.
Where is your home?
Like a day from the T-Rex.
Wait, you actually know where your home is?
I just assume where I woke up is my home.
Yeah, fair enough.
As you all kind of bed down and everything, they again make us a stew. This time, lacking any sort of meat, but still having some root vegetables, and what looks maybe like the dumplings or something in it.
I will use prestidigitation to add a little bit of a beef flavor to it.
Okay.
I'm still eating acid.
Okay.
I'm just, make rolls.
Yep. The rolls at this point are now a little over a week old, so they're becoming more and more difficult to chew.
That all carb diet.
Those of you that choose to partake of this soup, again, it's not a bad soup. Vavala's addition to it does make it taste a little better, but it's pretty bare bones. And you notice that this time, instead of kind of allowing you guys to have your own separate camp, the mercenaries set their camp up, basically surrounding you guys to keep you in the center.
Hey, Jody.
Yep.
The entire time on this journey, has my hand done that thing again, or was that just that one time?
Thus far, it hasn't. It was just that one time.
Okay.
But every so often at night, it'll tingle a little bit, kind of like it was falling asleep. As you all kind of bed down for the night and get as much sleep as you can, Argenta, you are woken in the dead of the night, but because of the heavy heavy wood that you're in, and the fact that the fire has burned down pretty far, you can't see a lot, but you get this very strong feeling, very similar to the feeling you got before you guys found Nameless, and you feel it from the southeast.
And I'm going to use my portal sense.
Say again?
I'm going to use the portal sense thing.
Okay. As you sit there and you focus, in your mind's eye, you can very clearly see kind of a portal. It feels more like a break or a tear in reality, but it's very clearly planar in nature.
And I kind of nudge Sala.
Okay.
Well, 5 more minutes.
I have another portal to the southeast.
Arcane bullshit. Okay. We should wake the others then.
Are we dealing with it now, or are we going to come back? It's similar to when we found
I mean, we can't.
our new wagon enthusiast.
Pardon?
It's similar to the feeling I got when we found our wagon enthusiast.
I mean, I don't think we can just ignore it.
As this conversation is happening, Liliane, as you're sleeping, you start to dream. This dream's a little different than most, because it starts as just a memory. When you were first traveling towards Dorme, you experienced something just strange, where the sky got dark and all of this kind of evil and a negative energy started spilling out of what looked just like a break in reality, and then it all suddenly stopped. But as you're sitting there kind of reliving this memory, the break isn't stopping like it did before. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. And you start seeing fingers coming out of the break. Pure white, skeletal fingers. And then another. And then a skeletal arm. And another. And then another. And then a head. and skeletons just start pouring out of this rift, this break. And as you're just sitting there watching them come out in droves, they suddenly start getting a little bit bigger, and you hear this unearthly noise that you've never heard before. And suddenly, a massive skeletal claw breaks through and starts clawing at the ground, trying almost to rip the entire earth into this break in reality. Then another claw comes out, forcing it over. You suddenly see a snout come through. A giant skeletal horn, teeth a little larger than you are. Suddenly, the massive skull of an undead dragon comes through, lets out this unearthly scream, and you're awake. You see Vala and Argenta having a conversation. You're covered in a flop sweat, and you get this really, really bad feeling.
As I'm coming out of my sleep, I probably reach for my sword that I will flat.
Okay. As your hand closes around the hilt of your sword, you get this almost kind of electric shock from it. As you grab it, it kind of makes you drop it for a second. And you very slowly kind of reach down and grab it again, and it's fine. But for whatever reason, just that for the first time you picked it up, something happened.
The once I grab it again, I was, but at that point, I realized that I'm no longer in the sleep, and I get up, take thought of everything around me, and when I see Odessa and Bala talking, I'll go over to them, and I'm assuming I hear them talk about a rift or whatever.
Well, as you come over, you guys, right after the last thing that you just said, you guys watch as Liliane kind of sits up from her bed. You see her grab her sword and drop it for a second. She looks around, she notices you guys, and walks over.
I'm assuming you have a weird feeling too. I sense the portal.
Well, I don't know if it was a portal, but
Well, no, it was more like a
there's
tear.
definitely something wrong here.
Yeah, it's more like a tear, kind of like the last one, probably unstable.
Yeah, I just had a dream about it. What about it here? And then I was just trying to dream the characters in the administration. And after I woke ever back to the appropriate place.
Yeah, I don't think we can walk away from this.
But will reinforce weather.
I don't care if he'll let us or not. I don't think it's in his best interest to allow us to come to harm, and this is important to this. This is important to the mission. I'll ask him nicely.
As you could kind of look around, you see Leopold, the other side of the camp. This is standing good guard.
I will go over to him.
As you could come over, he kind of nods in your general direction, but he doesn't to turn at all, keeping his eyes kind of just scanning around.
So first, I do want to. I should have said this sooner, but with everything that has been going on, thank you for saving me and my friends. I appreciate it.
Was my duty. This is what I'm here for. There's no thanks needed.
My friends have sensed there's another rift or portal near
At this
here.
point, he actually turns and looks at you. What?
There's another rift or portal or something. Tear in reality.
That it can't be.
And-
Sorry. That's not possible. We've been tracking the group that's been doing this. They're currently centered over in the house Girard.
So you won't mind us going to investigate this?
I can't let us. Whatever's going on, we need to get to the blood capital. We don't have the time for detours. You saw the people coming after us.
I did, but I don't think we can just walk away from this. If you guys are tracking the group that's doing this, and you have no idea that they're here, if it is them behind this, or there could be another group, we need to find out more information.
I do not believe this is wise.
Oh, it most certainly isn't.
What I'm saying is, from what I've been told, if we can experience one of these events, I can't protect you. And then you see him kind of catch himself. You're a good group. I can't protect your good group.
I appreciate that, but we can handle ourselves. This won't be our first portal incident.
But one of you died.
I'm well aware. If we don't do this, if we don't stop it, many more people will die.
That is not my mission. My mission is to get you and your friends safely to the blood capital. People are dying on the other side of the border right now. Do you think those people just ran away after we got away from them?
I'm trying not to think about how many people died there because of our actions.
I'm just saying, getting to the blood capital, to telling the blood council what's going on, so that they can learn what this is and could come up with a way to stop it, will save many more lives than going and possibly wasting your own.
I understand, but we need to give them as much information as we can.
and you see him kind of furrow his brow, and you're very quickly you get this very short memory kind of flash of you both wearing very different clothing in a room, a very nice room, and seem to be having like a conversation about something you can't remember. But you said something that has kind of annoyed and upset him, and he does the same thing where he kind of just he furrows his brow and he goes, "Fine, fine, we'll do what you want," and then you're back as he goes, "Fine, we'll do what you want, but my men will go in first to ensure everything is safe before any of your friends get anywhere near this thing. Those are the terms. This is the only way we do this."
I think that will be agreeable.
Okay. Let's wait till just before of a first light. We're close enough to close enough to an area you don't know about, where the sun shouldn't cause any issues.
Okay.
Gets us some rest. We've got about 4 hours before we need to go.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll kind of bow and turn around and walk back.
And he again turns his back and continues his scanning.
I'll go back to Argent and Liliane. He's agreed. We'll go and check it out just before first light. I had to agree to let the mercenaries go in first.
Well, that's annoying because I know the way, but I guess I have to tell them the way.
Sorry?
That's annoying because I know the way, but I guess I have to tell them the way.
Oh, yes, and I'll kind of like lead in a little bit. And it'd be so horrible if something bad happened to them.
Argent is just kind of nodding a bit, like the not bad face.
Like, send them in as red shirts. It'll be fine.
Oh, that's good, but it's before first night. That means I can get some rest. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I figured that would be better for everyone if we can get a full.
Yeah.
So let's all try to get some more rest.
Okay, I'll go pass out again.
Yeah.
As you wake up, the mercenaries. By the time you guys start waking up, the mercenaries are all fully geared. You notice they've actually left their packs that make them look like merchants are just in a pile and then next to a tree, and they're all in. Most of them are wearing leathers. A few are wearing some heavier armor. But for the most part, it's leathers and quick weapons, short swords, of a few daggers. One has a short bow. And you turn to see Leopold in his full ceremonial armor, crest of his house blazoned on the breastplate and on his shield, jeweled hilt of his sword on his hip right there. Looking almost kind of regal now that he's not covering it all up. And he turns to you. Argenta and goes, "Well, lead the
I
way."
yeah, just kind of turn directly because I get the straight path to the portal, so I turn directly to the where I felt it, and I
Mm-hmm.
start walking that way.
Okay. So as you all kind of travel through, uh, after about 20 minutes, you guys start noticing the air itself starts feeling colder and colder. At one point, you guys can actually start seeing your breath a little bit. Um, the trees themselves get kind of damp. But as you go further, you don't smell moisture as much as you smell like must.
Hmm.
You can smell rotting logs and mushrooms, and every so often you get that kind of sickly sweet smell of like rotting fruit and things like that. And you keep going deeper and deeper. If a few of the mercenaries start looking strange, they start jumping at nothing. Um, a couple of them attack bushes as they go past it, only to find there's nothing there. The rest of you are seeing movement out of the corner of your eyes that when you look for it, there's nothing there. And
I
go ahead.
I was gonna say I start looking for signs of pixies or fairies.
Sure. Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
And before we left, I would have ditched the cloak since they were all dropping their disguise.
Yep.
20.
As you kind of look around for those kind of telltale signs of fairies, um, there's nothing that would indicate a fairy is here. Um, to the point, the very limited knowledge of fairies you have, this whole area just feels very kind of anti-fairy. Like you don't think they would really enjoy being in this place.
Okay.
You've also disappeared.
I cast see invisibility.
Right?
Yeah, I just
Didn't
use
work.
library.
Your background that the thingy has cut all of you out, and now I'm there. That's creepy as hell. That was terrifying. It looked like a friggin' hologram. That was cool. We have left fantasy, and we're now in Star Wars apparently. Let's go blockade a small planet.
Is that legal?
I will make it legal. Uh,
I'll look at Argenta and just be like, where are we going?
Oddly, this fits this country. As I keep walking.
as you guys keep going, your armor seems to be getting kind of heavier almost. Like your shoulders start to feel sore, like you've been carrying something. You start breathing a little bit heavier, and every breath you take in just kind of hurts a little bit. And eventually you could come to a clearing, um, a good 300 feet into the diameter, where you can see bones on the ground of various creatures. Some of them animals, some of them very distinctly human, but it's almost a carpet of them. You can see underneath the bones. The bones are actually floating on this kind of strange, blackish but purple slime almost that is covering the entire area. And from the very center, you see this kind of hole where the slime is kind of dripping down, slowly expanding the area. You also notice there's almost no light here, except for a very strange, faint glow from the bones on the ground.
You said uh, the ooze is dripping into the center. Is it? Where is it dripping from?
It's due to dripping from the portal.
Ah, okay, okay. So there's a portal hovering.
Yeah, there's a portal. There's a big portal. Like the last one you guys saw was like this. This is easily 12 of a foot high, a good 6 feet wide, kind of oval shaped. And looking through it, you just see kind of the darkness that every so often will be lit up, and you'll see these very dark waves of something on the other side.
Welcome,
Right.
gentlemen. I've escorted you to the portal to another plane. Do not go through. Do not stick your arms or legs in. You might lose them. Uh,
Please keep your arms and legs inside the plane at all times.
Hey, last time
Um,
Henri got you a magical dagger. I'm just saying.
and then he died.
Hey, you got a magical weapon out of it.
As you guys are just sitting there, you start hearing just strange flapping sounds and cries of a creature you've never heard before.
so this is not the blood capital, I take it.
It's not how I imagined it.
Leopold instantly Leopold's face instantly changes. You see his eyes go wider than you've ever seen them before, as his mercenaries have already started walking across the bones to get towards the portal itself. And you see kind of this dawning expression before his eyes go wide. He goes, "Run! Dragon!" And suddenly, a beam of purple energy flies out of the portal, incinerating the remaining mercenaries. As you see one massive black claw could come through, another could come through, and then this head, darker than anything you've ever seen, almost purple and black at the same time. Two wings could come through as this massive, so dark it almost seems to absorb light into it. Dragon comes through, crunching the bones of the former mercenaries. It lets out this incredibly loud cry. That is where we are going to end it for this week. So, if you're watching on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, in 2 weeks' time, we will be back on to Twitch. It's twitch.tv/TrainerJody, where every other Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Time, you can watch us play this game. If you want to see all the other shenanigans this group's gotten into, they are all on the channel here. There's a playlist called The Legend of the Three Kingdoms that you can watch everything unfold in all its chaotic glory. Otherwise, that's all for me today, and I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.